Danielle.
One of my favorite singers, Janet Jackson, once said in her song, "Funny how time flies when you're having fun." And this statement is also true, because time has flown and it seems like yesterday was the first day of class. I've enjoyed every single one of you, and I appreciate the good feedback that I've received in my rubrics. It really did help me. So here I am delivering my last speech of the quarter. I don't want to bore you by repeating all the speeches that I've already talked about in front of you, so instead I want to talk about some of my readings through this quarter, some of the funny moments in my life, so I find her pretty funny, and my reaction to speech number 6, which was a brilliant speech by me and Eric, or Eric and I think we did a really great job. So first I want to talk about some of my readings. I actually was in the bookstore with my kids. We were in half-price books, and they were looking for all kind of stuff, and I just saw this book that said Angela's Ashes. It was by Frank McCourt. So I bought it, and I actually tried to buy the sequel to it. They didn't have that, but they had the next one, which was Teacher Man, so I bought those two. But Angela's Ashes was set back in ancient Ireland. I don't want to pronounce it wrong. It was Dublin, Ireland. And this man had, you think about poverty, I think that, I'm low income and things like that, but he really, to eat an egg in a day was a blessing for him. Having hot tea, maybe a piece of bread, that was what he lived off of. Not only that, he had so many infections in his eyes, he was really sick, malnourished, he was constantly bitten by fleas because the moisture in the air just attracted so many fleas in their beds and things. And I'm thinking, I could not live like that. So what this book really did for me was make me really feel grateful about what I have, things I may have lost, but I'm still here, So that's what I really liked about that. Another book I read was Smart Women and Foolish Choices. And the number one thing that I liked in that book was when they spoke about your buts, ifs, and maybes. A lot of women do the buts, the ifs, and maybes. Oh, he doesn't have a job, but we'll work on that. And if I just stay on him, he'll get a job. And maybe after he gets a job, he'll help pay some rent. Those are things that you could already see from the beginning. So if you go with the buts, ifs, and maybes instead of your first thought, it's already going to be a wrap. It's not going to work out too good. And that's one thing that I started thinking about too was, a lot of bad relationships went because I just went with that but if or maybe, like I could change them or whatever, however. So those were the two books that I read, and you can find them in any bookstore. They're really good to read. So next, I'm going to tell you about a couple of my funny moments. I titled it Wild Waves. Now for one, I don't know how to swim, so why am I at Wild Waves anyway? Went with the kids, and me and my sister, we were there, hair was nice, toes, everything was done. We was just there to be cute. But we figured, let's go get on a slide, let's get wet once. And we get to the top. Now, she can't swim either, so we're like, now how deep is the water when we land? When we get into the water, how deep is it? He said, oh, it's like 3.5 feet, just get in there and stand up. I'm like, okay, that doesn't seem like a problem. So I'm going, and I wasn't really going too fast, so I really got to get myself out there, And I'm going through the curves, and I'm going through the curves, and the curves, it was fun. I'm splashing. Everybody's having a good time. I could hear everybody screaming outside. I'm like, yes, I'm on the slide. So I go around the curve, and I see the light starting to shine in. Now, I didn't realize once this curve came around that it was going to, put you halfway. The water's already halfway filled up in the tube. I panicked instantly. So I tried to brace myself in the tube with my feet and my hands to try to slow down or stop, either way, because I was trying to hit that water. So of course that didn't happen, so I came out, feet up in the air, and then I flipped backwards, so now I'm upside down in the water. And I didn't know how to get out of that situation. So I'm sitting there, and I think I swallowed a lot of water, I couldn't breathe, and the lifeguard had to come and get me and turn me upside right. So as soon as I stood up and I looked around everybody, I just broke down crying. Well, I almost lost my life. You guys in here laughing at me, but I'm crying. My sister said, girl, get out of that pool. You're 25 years old. What you doing crying? And I'm thinking, I am 25 years old, crying like a little 6-year-old in the pool. Hair got messed up that day. It was a wrap. I just put on some lotion and sat on the side for the rest of the day. So the next one I want to tell you about, I labeled this one the track. When I was in Kansas, I wanted to try to, exercise and do some things. So I found on post, it was a track. I got out there and I walked 15 laps every day. But there was this one woman who was always there, and she'd speed right past me. Keep up the good work. I'm like, I don't need you to tell me that every time you pass me. It's like I'm really not doing a good job here. I'm sweating. She's just, and we were almost around the same size, but she was really getting up there. So she had on one of those sweatsuits, those plastic sweatsuits that, really helps you sweat when you're exercising. So I'm like, I'm going to go get one of those. So I'm going to show her. So I get it, and I got to the field, and of course she was like on the other side of the track. So I'm sitting there and I'm stretching, taking a long time, waiting for her to come around. So as soon as she came by me, I'm gone. And I'm like, as long as she stays behind me, that's all that matters. So she can't tap me on her way past me. I was going to make sure I was in front of her the whole time. But then I started walking, and then started feeling this cold drift in the back of my pants. I'm thinking, no, I should be hot. And then I felt it going down my leg. I said, what's going on? I reached back, the plastic pants then busted all out. So now my underwears are showing. And the lady says, don't worry about it, girl, just keep on going. And of all things, I want her not to have to say nothing to me. And of course, she's seen all my business and still taught me the same thing, keep on going. So I ran to my car, and I never went back to that track again. So that was the last of my exercise. So that was my sort of funny moments. There's many more, but that's all I want to share with you today. My reaction to speech number 6. It's the last thing I want to talk to you about. I thought that was a really good speech. For one, I was so loose and comfortable. But first, I want to talk about the introduction. I wish Eric was here because I would tell him how good of a job he always does on introductions. That's why I made him do the introduction, so he could, guide me on in there. And, he always just comes with these witty comments that you just want to just listen further and further. And that's what I like about him. He's really unique. The second part of that speech was when Andrew did his rap. A lot of people probably didn't hear word for word what he was saying, but I heard what he said, and I also got a chance to speak to him, and I knew a lot of the things that he was mentioning in his rap. But what was good about the rap to me, well, when I actually watched the speech, I didn't realize how loud everybody had clapped for him after, that was done, and I was so in the moment. But to see that all over again, that was like a really good feeling, because I know he wanted to do something, and he did a really good job, so I liked that. But another thing I liked was just how he included in the end that statement where he said, I'll buy my mom a house before I buy me a car. Now I think anybody feels that way. If you ever make it big, you will do more for your parents than yourself. So I like that about him. And then my conclusion, I went all out for that conclusion. Y'all got to give it to me on that. The quotes, I think they really fell really into play. I searched a while for those quotes, but they actually, they came out right on the money. So in closing, I would like to say that some people are meant to carry out certain jobs. But Dr. Phil, you are definitely meant to be a teacher. I cannot imagine anyone leaving this classroom without learning lots of valuable information. And that will help them in the future. There are 2 things I will remember from this class. It's to never be more than 5 minutes late. And last but not least, be prepared.